I'll say it. It's Mahomes to Kelsey in the corner of the end zone. Are you happy? End zone. Are you happy, Brady?
No, Kelsey sucks.
Okay. So, all right. You pick the receiver, you pick the quarterback, but it's the unstoppable play.
I like the Gronk one. I like the Gronk one.
Yeah. Yeah. Jordan's over here mentioning NHL things. Jordan, just be quiet over there. Okay. Nobody wants to hear about your Colorado Avalanche.
Go skate, dude. Go skate around.
Jeez. Okay, what questions do you guys have for me about how to use the objection finder? And by the way, the one thing you never want to say is, let me get out the objection finder. You do not want to reference it as the objection finder. You just want to say, I'm really good at lists because it helps me to organize my thoughts. I've got kind of a list here that I use with customers sometimes when we're, trying to figure out what you're looking for. So, and then you just pull it out and you start asking them questions. And I often, after I go over the list and I've written everything down, I turn it around, I push it across the desk, set it in front of them, and let them look at it because it's a very visual thing. So, what questions do you guys have for me about how to deal with this kind of stuff? Anything?
No.
I'm the most clear human being you've ever met that I've said everything about it that can be said. Is that what you're saying, Brady? Do you ever get this document out?
No. And I'll be honest, the reason I don't is I probably just ask these things as part of my rapport building and collect the data to use against them. You know what I mean? Just in the back of my mind, but I don't ever put it on paper. I'm sure there's times it'll come up where I absolutely should, where it'll probably do me better. But what I found for me is most of the time, if I can just collect the data and then circle back to it, you know, and I don't always circle back to it immediately. Like, hey, you guys mentioned earlier that these things were important to you. Is that a 100% like, is there any wiggle room on that, or is that something you're stuck in your way with? And then get them thinking about it again whenever we're ready to purchase. So,
I like to ask people, is this something you're willing to compromise on, or are you unwilling to compromise?
yeah,
Nobody wants to say I'm unwilling to compromise with my spouse.
yeah,
Nobody wants to say that. So I will ask them that point blank question. Is this something you're willing to compromise on, or is it something you're unwilling to compromise on? And let them look at their spouse and say, I'm unwilling to compromise. Right? Because they won't. They'll be like, yeah, yeah, I am. Okay. Um, and Brady, I'm the same way for many years. I used this conversation when I'm going through the guest registration card phase, right? I'm gathering every sales encounter is rapport, needs, benefits, close. When I'm going through rapport and needs, I'm gathering information. Have you ever heard the saying, when you're talking to somebody, they're loading their guns behind their back?
yep,
Like when they're talking to me during rapport and needs, I am kind of loading my guns behind my back. I'm figuring out the roadmap to closing the deal by listening closely. Listening is a learned skill, by the way. It's not something that just happens in your ears, it happens in your mind, right? And I'm listening for the things that can help me to overcome those objections that I'm seeing as they're mentioning needs. When they go 250 3,000 square feet, $250,000 price, 3,000 square feet, I see the objection already. And so
yeah,
I'm loading my guns behind my back. I'm creating the roadmap to getting them to where I need to get them to, right? I do that automatically, but different people learn different ways. Some people learn auditory, some people learn tactile, some people learn visual. So I'll give you an example. My son, my oldest son, when he was like, I don't know what age that is, maybe 5, 6 years old, when you're learning about all the coins, he was learning about money. Here's a $1 bill. Here's a quarter, which equals 25 cents. Here's a dime, which equals 10. Here's a nickel, which equals 5. Here's a penny that equals 1. And you're trying to teach this concept of money, which, by the way, is very weird, but you're trying to teach this concept of money to a young child. And we're like showing him on paper. He saw a piece of paper showing a $10 bill, a $5 bill, a $1 bill, a quarter, dime, nickel, and penny. And we're trying to tell him to write down how much it equals in dollars and cents, what the number is. And he could not for the life of him understand it. And we had this tutor over at our house. And like, I'm like beating my head against the wall, going like, why doesn't he understand this? Like, this is so simple. And she goes, hold on a second. And she says to my son, do you have a piggy bank? And he was like, yeah. And she said, go get it. So she went and got it. He went and got it. He comes back into the room and she says, take the plug out of the bottom of it and dump it all out. He's like, okay. And she goes, let's sort these into the piles of what they are. And so she starts putting the pennies all in a pile, the nickels, the dimes, the quarters. She gets partway through it and he goes, oh, I get it now. And she's like, I'm sitting there. She was like, okay, I thought you would. And I'm going, I don't get it. How does he get it now? And he goes, well, the dimes sound like this. And he clinked 2 dimes together. The pennies sound like this. The nickels sound like this. The quarters sound like this. And he was like dropping a quarter on the rest of the quarters. And then he wrote down all the numbers. As soon as he did that, he understood it. And I was like, okay, I that's not how I learned. But I
Either
did
he's
it.
a genius or yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, so in some people, they have to see it, right? They're very visual. And so the way you're doing it is strictly auditory if you're just doing it in a conversation. And the tool of the objection finder is the visual representation of it. It's just another way to try and drive it home. And I've found a lot of times when I've got a customer who's like close, but I just can't quite get them to do it or can't quite get them to see that, like, hey, your budget isn't big enough to get this square footage and these amenities in this location. When I put it on paper and I turn it around and I show it to them, they go, oh, okay, I see. And then it makes it easier to get them to work through it. Does that make sense?
I've always asked just too, like, hey, why is that important to you? You know, and
Yeah.
especially if you're building rapport and then doing some fact finding as well, then you can circle back to that importance whenever you're doing your objection sheet.
Yeah, great question. It's the 2 things that I always say are when you have an objection, you want to qualify it and quantify it. The 2 Qs. Qualify and quantify. So it's the same idea as making the list of numbered 1 through 10. It's like you're qualifying it. Like, how important is that to you? Or what you said, Brady. Why is that important to you? And then it's like, how important? Is that a deal breaker? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, is that a 10 or is that a 5? So you qualify it and quantify it and find out the reason why. Those are good ways to overcome objections as well. All right. Well, that's what I have for you guys today. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Maybe you learned something. Maybe it reinforced something for you. The link to the objection finder is right here on the agenda. So if you want to print 5 of those and put them on your clipboard and just have them handy, it's a good tool to have. Just another tool in your tool belt to close the deal. All right.
Cool.
Guys, if you need anything from me between now and next time, holler anytime. And if I don't talk to you before, you guys have a happy new year. And I will be around on Friday for our next sales huddle.
Hey, thank you for responding last night, by the way. I got
You're
that house
welcome.
under contract, so
Yes.
55 for the year.
Nice. So it helped.
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad you reached out. I try to always respond. That was what, almost 9 o'clock last night. So
Yeah, thank you. I try not to bug you, but you're great, man. I appreciate it.
all right, no problem, buddy. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Okay.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. See ya.